Welcome, welcome. Got my music. That's called a belly breath. We'll start with a belly breath today. Everybody do it with me. All right, this is dumb. Welcome, everybody. How's it going? My name's Austin Hamilton, also known as Porn Coach. Here to talk about porn. So, hello, Faith, Duncan. How's it going, people? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. We're doing a midday live, a rare midday live from me. So, whoever joins, great. I am here for it. Go ahead and request if you want to come on. Share your story, share your feelings, share your opinions about porn or betrayal, maybe your experience. If you want to argue or debate, I'm happy to do that. If you want me to change your mind, I'm happy to try. If you want to tell me how much you love porn, I'd love to hear it. How well porn works for you in your relationship. I'm happy to hear how you claim that that's the case for you. Depends on your agreement with your spouse. I'm absolutely against its use. So for me, yes. Yeah, I agree. Depends on your agreement with your partner. I wouldn't even say spouse, with your partner. If you're in a committed relationship, what agreements constitute that relationship? And is there an expectation of monogamy? And if there is, I think that we should do our best to uphold that expectation. So, with that, I'm not crying. I just put eye drops in. Not that there's anything wrong with crying. I'd be happy to cry. Without consent and or talking about it, yes, but it's cheating. As long as it's agreed in the relationship, I know my partner's core and preferences. I don't care. Ashes, is there anything in you, anything, just even an iota that says, I just want him focusing on me? It's not cheating if both parties are aware. Yes, it's ruined my life, but not with him now. Never had a problem before, but he obsessed with it. No, LOL, I love seeing what he's into. He loved it. I can't get over that he did. It makes me feel disgusting. Does it get better? He was watching it every day, and now he says he's changed because I left. It's possible. All right, we got some people, some guests. Hey there, what's going on? Susan, must have been an accident. If you're married, it's cheating. What about cheating outside of the U.S.? What does that mean? I would never take someone back if they broke an agreement. That's pretty strong. We break agreements with each other all the time. Hey there, what's going on? Tom Petty?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Do you think it is?
Do I think what is? Porn is cheating?
Yeah.
Well, do you think it is?
Yeah, I do.
You do? Okay. Why
Yeah,
is
I
that?
do. Well, I have a girlfriend and she doesn't think it is. So she doesn't have a problem when I do, but I have a problem when I do. Watch
Okay.
it.
So you have a problem when you watch porn, but she doesn't. Does she watch porn?
Yeah. No, she does not.
Okay. Why does she not have a problem when you watch porn?
Um, I think when it's not people I know, I don't think she sees it as cheating. I just see it as like lust in any way. But
Hmm.
I kind of feel like her not really caring about it is part of what's like enabling me to continue the problem, you know?
So you still watch porn?
Occasionally, I go to therapy for it sometimes now because, well, that's one of the things that I talk with him about because I'm trying to stop. But it used to be a much bigger problem. I was seriously addicted in high school and earlier in college, but
Hmm.
um, occasionally still, yeah, I fall into it.
Okay. It seems like that's a pretty big incompatibility if she is okay with you watching porn. Does she do OnlyFans or something?
Oh, no, not at all. No, she
Okay.
doesn't do any of that stuff. Yeah.
All right. Um, does she like want you to watch porn, or is it like
Oh,
if you do
no,
it?
no, she supports me wanting to stop, definitely. she
Okay.
doesn't want she doesn't want me to watch it or anything like that. But she would. So I actually cheated on her before. So now she's like, "Well, I'd rather you do that." If, but it's not like that. It's not like if I don't watch it, I'm gonna cheat on her. They're two separate problems, you know.
Got it. How long have you been seeing a therapist for it?
Maybe a month and a half, few
Okay.
months.
And have you made progress in that time?
Yeah, I would definitely say so, especially in other avenues. But I don't want to get off topic of what your subject is here.
Well, it's all connected. It's all connected.
It is. It is. Drugs definitely plays a big part of it
Hmm.
because I also smoke weed pretty regularly,
Uh huh.
and I have for many years, and I know a lot of guys are the same way.
How often do you watch porn?
I mean, I did today, but before that, it had probably been a few days. So I don't know. On average, I'd probably say every couple days. I know it's not good for me. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, I used to be in the ministry, and I do think that Jesus is Lord, and I was baptized in His name, and I want to follow His teachings. I really do, but and I've never been like okay with doing it. I've never been like, whatever, you know, it's just masturbation. I've never been like, man, it's just porn. I've never. I know there's some guys like that, but I've never encouraged it in any
Were you
way,
watching
shape, or
porn when you were in ministry?
form. Still struggled with it, but when I started in the ministry, I would definitely say that was when I was at my best. I went
Hmm.
probably 6 months or so after getting into it, after being baptized and everything, and then yeah, slowly started to fall off. You know, you did it once, and then I was good for a few weeks, and then I did it again, and then it was only a few days, and then whatever. So it's been on and off for years, honestly. I'll have moments or weeks or months where I'm good, and then
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
dude, guys are obsessed with it. I'm reading these comments like it's nuts. I mean, Jesus really does help. Yeah, it's crazy, but I mean, I think that's a cop out answer a lot of times. Sometimes that doesn't help for everybody. You can't act like being baptized is just some magic pill. Like you have to still want it. You have to still want to grow and be good.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Thanks for talking with me. Appreciate you.
Oh, you got it, man. See ya.
Bye.
Katie debates. Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been watching your debates for a while now. I've been debating if I wanted to come up or not. I'm like, yeah, I might as well come up today.
All right.
so,
Great.
um, so my opinion is, and I'm willing to, change my opposition on it. I honestly don't think it's cheating if like both parties are aware of it. For me, for me and my husband, we do it to get ideas to build our intimacy. So, like, I don't watch it just for fun. I just do it for, I guess, building building our sexual life.
Okay.
So, but I just don't think it's cheating unless the other party doesn't want you doing it and you're doing it behind their back. Then I would consider it cheating.
Okay. Did you say husband?
Yes.
All right, so you guys got married, like you had a wedding?
Yes.
What did you say to each other on your wedding day?
Forsaking all others, both as we both serve.
Like, was there some sort of vow about mutual exclusivity between the two of you?
No.
No, you guys didn't make a commitment to one another and one another only?
Yes, we did, but I'm
Okay.
watching porn. It's not. You're not doing it with somebody else.
Are you
If you,
using another person for your sexual gratification?
no, I mean we're just getting ideas. We're not. Honestly, how do I put it? I can't remember a website that we want. We go to. We just.
So hold on.
I don't know how to
Hold on.
explain it.
If you're how are you not using another person for your sexual gratification if you're watching other people have sex and arousing yourselves to it?
Well, I mean, we're not doing it just because it's fun to watch somebody else do it, but it's just to build our sex drive. Cause we've been having marital problems lately, and it's just we
Do you know
want
that
to build.
statistically more people have more marital problems when pornography is in the marriage?
Did not know that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now you know.
Like the honest truth. I
More,
honestly
yeah.
didn't.
Yeah. Well, what I would submit to you is pornography poisons a marriage, and more poison will not heal the poison, the wound of the poison.
Right.
So,
I mean,
but anyways, back to your agreements. You guys made an agreement, a commitment to each other on your wedding day about exclusivity between the two of you. Help me understand again how using other people for sexual enjoyment doesn't violate that commitment that you guys made.
in my opinion, I feel like we're not violating anything. It's not like we're doing it with somebody else. We're just doing it with each other. We're both in the same room. We're both, doing it together. We're not. It's not like we're going out and trying to. How do you say it? Spice up the bedroom with
And
somebody
why?
else.
Right. So you're using other people to quote spice up the bedroom. So you're using them for sexual gratification.
I guess.
Okay.
But like I said, it's. I mean, we both
And
are.
that is also known as cheating.
How? I mean, you're not doing it with somebody else.
Yeah, we'll go back to the vow you guys made on your wedding day. You agreed to mutual exclusivity on the two of you, and then you violated that
Well, I mean,
by using other people for your sexual gratification.
right, but it's not. I get like I feel like I'm a broken record at this point. We're
I,
not doing it with
I feel
somebody
like you
else.
are too. It's like I'm.
I don't know.
I
I
walked
don't
you
know
through.
how.
Look, your name is Kathy or Katie Debates, so I'm going to assume that you have some sort of debating chops. I
I
just
do.
walked you through a definition, which you agreed to, but then you feel like you don't like the definition that the conclusion we've come to with what the definition is.
On what? I'm sorry.
On the definition of cheating. I understand you don't feel like that's true. I don't
Right.
care what you do, right? You told me you
Right.
made an agreement on your wedding day, and then your behavior indicates you're going against that agreement.
Well, maybe I need to do a little bit more digging on that, which I'm good with doing that. I mean, like I host debates. I know how the debates work with the oppositions and all that. Maybe I can
Well,
do a
let me
little
let
bit
me
more
present it to
research.
you as a point to debate that. Here's why I say porn is cheating. If you've committed to somebody else, if you're in a committed monogamous relationship with another person, and you've said something like, I love you and only you, mind, body, and soul, till death do us part,
Hmm.
and then you go against that agreement, that commitment, that therefore would go against the agreement, which is cheating.
Right.
So debate me on that then, if you want to make
Well,
it
I
a
mean,
debate.
no, I don't. No, that's not. I don't want to debate it. You are. I mean, I am understanding it now. Now that you kind of broke it down a little bit, I guess. Yeah, watching others um, in the bedroom to spicing up our bedroom is probably not the wisest way to go.
Okay.
We were just trying to find ways to spicing up the bedroom because it just feels like we're doing the same thing over and over again. So we wanted to try something different. If there is a different way to spicing up the bedroom, please by all means share. I'm willing to,
Great. I'm glad you
to do
asked.
it.
There's a book called What Turns You On? A Guide to Living Your Best Sex Life by Alex
Yeah.
Katahakis.
Where can you find
There
that?
are, well, where do you think you could find a book?
Probably Amazon.
Amazon. Yes. Great.
But yeah, I
Amazon.
mean,
Here's the thing is there are ways to spice up your sex life without taking something from somebody else, without dehumanizing somebody else or reducing them down to a
right,
person who just has value because of their parts. So this
right.
book is one way to do that.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm willing to. I mean, I'll dig into actually probably when I get my next paycheck, I'll buy that book and we can do that together. Like I said, we're just trying to find ways. And I guess in my mind, I didn't realize that just watching. I don't like saying that actually because I get my life taken down. So I just if it's okay if I could just say corn. Um, I didn't realize watching somebody else on websites is considered cheating. I just thought like, well, if both parties are aware of it, then that's not cheating. But now that I just realized, yeah, you're watching somebody else doing, you're letting it get in your mind. Then I would say, yeah, you're being unfaithful to both parties.
Yeah, but that's what you're doing, right? Is you're
Right.
watching somebody else and you're fantasizing with them.
Right. And I didn't really realize that, I guess, in a way, I was fantasizing, like, oh, I want to do that with my husband. I want to try that.
Yeah,
Let's
great.
try it. But,
Great.
so, yeah, I guess my stance would be, yeah, one is cheating.
Great.
I mean, I'm willing to
Yeah,
tell her more. So
great.
I
You're a good
appreciate you
debater
having
then.
me back.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
that?
I said you're a good debater then. You can see different perspectives and form new
I
opinions based on
yeah,
new
I host
information.
a voice debates, so I know how it works.
Oh,
So yeah,
okay.
but I appreciate it. Like keep up the good work. I will do more research. I'll even share this with my. He's actually sitting beside me right now.
Oh,
Um,
what's up,
but
husband?
How's it going?
Good man. All right, well,
you
good chatting
want
with
to?
you.
Yeah, you too. You have a good one.
All right, you too. Bye bye.
Bye.
All right, Summer Echo wants to debate. Oh yeah, Lynn's Bins. Yeah, Betrayal Bind is a fantastic book. Hi there, Summer. What's going on?
Oh, hi. Good. Thanks for accepting my request.
So what's up? It's porn cheating.
Well, so I've been listening. I listened a little bit to your last debate, and I think I want to preface this by saying that I am a huge proponent of no porn in a relationship. I think porn is detrimental to relationships, but I just started having some issue with the logic of what you're saying by the fact that you're not cheat. Let's define what cheating is. And I think the issue isn't is porn healthy? Is porn good for a relationship? It's this definition of cheating that's been the
Okay,
sticking point for
great.
me.
Cheating is going against an agreement.
Well, but I mean, if I look at like, let's just look at like the Webster's definition, it's to
Okay.
act dishonestly or unfairly to gain an advantage. So it's this
Yeah.
idea of
Also
like,
going
I
against an
want
agreement,
something, right?
right?
I
Like
want something
if
and
you're
I'm going to
playing
be sneaky
Monopoly,
about it.
if you're playing Monopoly and there's rules, and if you go against one of those rules, you're cheating, right?
I think, well, it's like if you look at the law, it comes down to intent. So, like, if you're cheating for the intent of gaining something or getting around something, like in a game, you cheat because you want to win, right? So, in a relationship, you cheat because you want to get something without having to do it honestly. So, I don't think you can call something cheating without looking at intent.
Okay.
So, if
So
there's two, if
how
there's
would
a
intent even whether or not the intent is there, the cheating still occurs.
No, not if if a couple in a relationship are open about it, they agree on it, and something that they both want. Nobody has an intent to harm. Nobody has an intent to cheat. It's just a choice that they make for their relationship. I still don't think it's necessarily a healthy
Yes. So
choice,
you're
but it's
saying
certainly not
if
cheating.
mutually they both agree on that, is that what you're saying?
Okay, so let's take your Monopoly
Hold
example,
on, hold on,
right?
hold on, hold on, hold on. Did I hear you right? You're saying they mutually agree to do that?
If they mutually agree that this is something that's allowed in their marriage or their relationship, then yes, it's not cheating.
Correct, because there's not an agreement that they're violating.
Right, right. Like if you look at your Monopoly example, if before you sit down to play Monopoly, you say, "Hey, I know normally when you hit the go to jail card, you go to jail, but let's play a game where instead of going to jail, we each get $50." If that's the
Yeah.
rules agreed
So
upon before they go into it, it's not cheating.
exactly, you're proving my point. So they've agreed upon the rules,
Yes, how is that
and in
proving your
that,
point?
because I'm defining cheating as going against the agreed upon rules. So
But what are the rules?
even though Monopoly has a set of rules, in that case, they're agreeing to modify the rules. Therefore, there's new rules in place.
Right, in your example, but let's take it
No,
from
that
the
was your
example, the
example. That
theoretical.
was your example.
Right. Well, you brought up Monopoly. So if we're going to
And then
take it
you
from the
modified the
theoretical,
example.
yeah, exactly. But if we take it from the theoretical to actual, like, are we talking relationship or marriage? It doesn't matter.
Well, I'll say it again. If you're in a committed monogamous relationship and you've said something like, I love you, only you, mind, body, and soul till death do us part, and you go against that, you deviate from that, whether it's using a person on a screen or otherwise, that's cheating.
What if
So
you
it
don't say those
depends on,
vows? Like, there's lots of
that's
people in
okay. Listen,
relationships that have
listen,
never said
listen,
that vow.
listen. So hear my words. If you've said something like, so we'll go back to the word if. If you didn't say something like that, then those rules wouldn't govern the relationship.
Okay, that's fair. So I guess your question is like, if you've made the specific vow and you watch porn,
Yeah,
then
which is
yes, that
exactly
could be
what I said.
cheating.
If you're in a committed monogamous relationship with somebody else and you've said something like, blah, 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 blah. If you didn't say that, then there wouldn't be an agreement that you're violating, right?
I think we're agreed there. But just your question of is porn cheating? You have a lot of things that you're assuming under that, which is like point A, you're in a committed relationship.
Nope.
Point
I
B,
have
you've
zero
made vows.
assumptions. I have zero
Well,
assumptions.
you just
It,
said two. You said the
no,
first one
no,
is you're
no,
in a
no, no, no,
committed relationship, and the second one you've made vows.
no. I have no assumptions. It's a conversation starter.
Yeah, that's fair. And that's what I'm saying is like it's cheating if there are assumptions. Like if you've made a vow and there when people get in a relationship, like we're agreement there. Like if you're in a committed relationship, I think there's a lot of assumptions that couples don't talk
So
about, which are
here
like
would be my
monogamy.
question. Right. Here would be my question though. I'm assuming you live in the US. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you think the default assumption or expectation would be for two people getting into a romantic relationship? Do you think that the default assumption generally is that it's exclusive between the two parties or
Yeah.
non-exclusive?
I think
You,
the general assumptions is exactly what you said. It's exclusive,
exclusive. Yeah.
and which means that like mind, body, and soul, like you said,
Yeah.
cheating then is like whatever would cause the other partner to feel betrayed. And
Yeah.
like most spouses are going to walk in on their partner finding gratification in someone else. They're going to feel that like blow to the gut sense of like betrayal.
Hmm.
And that is like I agree that that is the standard without people having these hard conversations beforehand. That's the standard. And that's why I think porn without being discussed, like unless you like we just agreed on, like unless you create new rules of the game. If you're going in with standard rules of the game, then yes, I think that pornography without previous discussion would feel like cheating for both parties.
Yep. I agree. And we live in 2024 and porn is rampant. So, it's probably advisable to discuss it right out of the gate in a relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of, I don't know, that's sort of the point I wanted to bring was like, I don't interested in fighting for fighting's sake because I don't think pornography is good for relationships, but it is just like, it's so important to have those conversations up front with your potential partner. Because if you draw those lines so clearly and you say, like, I'm in a new relationship, I had to have that conversation with my partner. I had to have the hard talk of, like, hey, you've been single for this many years, but in a relationship, this is my line. I consider this cheating. I consider this cheating. So I think it's important for every couple to have that conversation. And then there's no doubt about it. When you move forward, you can say, look, we talked about that.
Hmm. Yeah. So what are we debating?
No, I think the only thing I wanted to bring up was just the fact of like, it's not cheating if you've had previous conversations. So I think we kind of discussed that and we agree on that. But it all comes down to the rules that you set for your game and making sure that both parties abide by those
Yeah.
rules.
So we're not debating anything. You're just restating what my prompt is, or my assertion.
Yeah, I think we made good ground.
Well, we didn't make any ground. We just got clear on what my assertion was.
Okay, well, I think we're just clarifying some terms. Porn is cheating under the basic assumptions of
Yeah.
United States
Depends on what the
marriage, but
agreement
it's
is.
not. But it's not cheating if the couples have previously discussed a foundation that includes other parties.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
All right. Thanks for sharing.
Bye.
All right. Bye bye. Tawny? Tawny? No. Oh, Pan Dulce. I love some Pan Dulce. No Pan Dulce? Okay. Host just wants to be right. He couldn't even accept that he changed her mind a bit. I don't think anybody changed her mind. It's not about being right. I'm making an assertion. What do you tell a man that says, but all men do it? I would ask the person who's asking that question to ask yourself, do you think that that's true? Do you think it's true that all men watch pornography? I don't think it's true. I know it's not true. So if somebody says all men do it, that's a non-truth. That's not true. No, Pickles, we didn't come to any agreement. My assertion began with if there's an agreement in place, if we violate that agreement, then it's cheating.
Mm-hmm.
It took 8 minutes to wrap all the way around back to that same point that I began with. Charlie, what's going on?
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. What's up?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought we needed headphones for a second, and I haven't really done this a lot. I think when it comes to porn, there's a huge barrier between what porn is and what it actually does, if that makes sense. Because porn can be either a coping strategy for a male, a female. It's not just the male that enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? But it all depends on the individual in a relationship on how they look and feel about porn, if that makes sense. You can have an individual that looks at porn and thinks, okay, that's a healthy thing for my partner to look at. In another way, a woman might look at that and feel, do you know what I mean? It feels a bit wrong that their partner's looking at another woman in another way. Do you know what I mean? For a woman, I believe it's a lot harder to understand why a man feels so attracted to a naked body, if that makes sense. And that's not all men. That's not all men. But I think when it comes to that, it's all about the individual and how they feel about it.
How do you feel about porn?
Personally, I feel I don't like it, but if my partner was to say, look, I enjoy that, then unfortunately, then there needs to be a common ground there, because if that's something that my partner enjoys, then that's something he enjoys, as long as he's not physically going to meet these women. Do you know what I mean? He's pleasuring himself. Do you know what I mean? It's not, nobody else is touching him. And let's say I
What do you think
don't want
he's
him to
thinking
watch
about
it.
if he were to do that?
I think he probably would be thinking of the people that he is watching on the screen. I suppose that's another insight. Because, like you say, if there's a woman that does not like it, then, for instance, if you're in a relationship and a man wants to watch porn and a woman doesn't want it, then there's ways you can go around that. Some people might not feel comfortable with making a video, but if this is something that the man truly wants to do, then unfortunately, if that is that man's life. If he wants to watch porn, then he can watch porn. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Unfortunately,
well, sure, he of course he can. But the question is, should we just go and try to fulfill all of our desires that we have?
oh no, I believe that you have to come to an agreement with your partner and understand why your partner feels the way they do about you watching porn and see if there's anything you can do to, if maybe it's a kink, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? There's multiple different reasons to why people watch it.
Yeah,
So some people watch it together. Do you know what I mean? You've got many different relationships that, do you know what I mean? Some it's cheating, some it's not, some it's literally just a bit of fun. So it all depends on the relationship. I wouldn't put it under cheating, um, because there's ways you can go around it. Do you know what I mean? You can make your own videos, you can make your own content, do you know what I mean, for your partner to watch if that is what he wants to visually see something on a phone as such.
do you do that
Um,
for your partner?
no, my partner doesn't watch it, but if he was to
Okay.
watch it, I've given him that opportunity. Like, if you want to watch it, I would like to know now before our relationship goes any further,
Yeah.
because we've been together 2 years and we don't argue, do you know what I mean? But in the beginning, I made my point to him that I don't want him watching porn. I said, and if he was going to do that, I said, then there's things that we can do you know what I mean? If it's a kink, you can watch it, do you know what I mean? Or we can do things and, do you know what I mean? I can make things for you if there's certain things that you want and that's why you watch it. Um, but obviously my partner just doesn't care about it. But I know in previous relationships, my partner, that's all he wants to do. Do you know what I mean? Me as the physical person, he's not wanted that. He wanted something digital, if that makes sense. So obviously that's where you need to come to an understanding of why that person watches it as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think even sex on a screen isn't sex.
Yeah.
So I think that it can get dangerous there because you're subverting what sex is supposed to be.
Oh yeah, 100%. And when you're touching yourself as such, it releases different hormones to whether somebody else is touching you. So it almost becomes an addiction in a way, because them hormones that are being released when you are touching yourself, you tend to crave that when, let's say, you have sex with your partner, that doesn't feel the same. It might feel better, it might feel worse, but you're then constantly chasing that. And I feel that's where it then turns into an abhorrent addiction, because yeah, I mean, there's multiple different reasons to why men do it. So it's just coming down to why they do it, or
Yeah.
or why we females do it. Do you know what I mean? It's not just
Yeah.
men.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing.
Well, thank you for having me on.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Not much. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. What's up?
So I think, well, obviously, actually, two people ago had a good, I think definitionally we've got an issue there where it's like, there's several different definitions of cheating. If you look at like, I would think the classic definition you would be comparing it to would be the infidelity, which means being unfaithful, which means like physically having sexual relationship with a different person. Which
That's
I'm willing to
adultery.
say that
Adultery is physical. Physical.
sure, but so is cheating. I mean, but I think it depends on the definition you're looking at, right? Like there are multiple definitions to
Well,
cheating and adultery,
okay,
and
yeah. So adultery is a specific type of infidelity that involves physical or sexual activity. Infidelity is a general term for being unfaithful to a partner, which can include adultery.
then I think, well, beyond that, I don't think that it's fair to be like, oh, the person you're watching is like you're attracted to another person necessarily. It's like if I am window shopping, is it the same as me shopping, right? This is like a digital representation of a person, but it's not
Well,
actually that
that
person. You don't have
depends. It
any
depends. It
knowledge
depends
of
on
that
if
person.
it depends on if you view women's bodies as a marketplace.
Well,
Do you view women's bodies that way?
let me be honest here. I think that porn culture is extremely unhealthy, right? Like, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's bad for the actors generally, and I think that it's, I don't necessarily know that it's completely terrible for relationships. I've read studies about it. One study that I saw was like actually watching porn the same day where you and your partner were going to be having sexual relations had, added to stress in a relationship. But when things were, as you were discussing earlier, agreed on, in the relationship, and if everyone was fine with it, it didn't really actually have any negative effect on the relationship. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously it probably depends on the maturity, emotional maturity of the person watching, right? If a person is able to separate that, as being just like a visual aid or something and knows that this is not real in any way, it's probably different than someone that maybe is not as emotionally intelligent and watches porn and gets the wrong ideas or expects their partner to act the way that actors are in a porn movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it may be oversimplifying it to call it cheating. Um,
Okay, what
you
would you
know,
call it?
I mean, I would just call it masturbating while looking at a video. You know, like it's like if I'm looking at a painting and I'm attracted to the woman, I'm not actually making a true connection with that. There's not there like there's a separation there where it's like, oh, I know this is just a representation of something that I find visually appealing. And so I think if there's no deeper connection there, that's where you draw the line. It's like
How,
am I actually
how,
creating an
how,
invested attachment to this person, or is it just a visual aid?
yeah, well, the answer is yes. And the data actually suggests that people typically return to the same video or the same performer over and over and over again because they have developed a connection to them in their fantasy
See,
world.
I actually, it's funny because I read something different that a lot of people get very bored very quickly and end up watching lots of different categories and different
That, that's also true.
actors
That's
over
also
time.
true. Yeah, two things can be true. Porn use always escalates into something else. So it typically starts as something repetitive at one level, then slowly escalates into many other things. How much porn do you watch?
Mm, it's a good question. Well, it depends on like if I have, and I'm very busy and I'm happy in my marriage, and I don't know. It probably depends on whether I have a bunch of free time or like in some way I'm frustrated
Once a
at
week,
work, or
twice
if
a week, 5 times a week, roughly how
it really
much?
depends. Maybe sometimes 5 times a week, sometimes never for
Okay.
months.
How
It's
does your
like
wife
it
feel
really
about it?
depends. Say that again.
How does your wife feel about that?
She doesn't care.
Okay.
She knows it's not, it's just like completely separate.
Completely separate.
And she sometimes watches porn too. She's better at just like imagining it. She can just like come up with the images, so she can like see a girl like grabbing her boob and then she can like bring it back up or something like that. So it's like she's a little bit better with her imagination, whereas I'm
Hmm.
better at like, I'm not as good at just having an imagination. I have to see something.
Hmm.
Um,
Is she there right
you
now?
know,
Can we get her on?
she's not. She's at work.
Okay. Um, I'm curious. Why is it that you whatever it is going on for you, why do you masturbate while watching other people have sex, as opposed to maybe talking with your wife about it or
Well, I mean,
being
sometimes she's
intimate with your
just
wife?
not around, and I want to like, deal with. It feels good.
How many other women do you think you've used for your sexual pleasure since you've been married?
Well, again, I don't view it as using another woman, right? Like your definition of using a woman is like very different than mine.
How many other women do you think you've?
Looked
I
at?
can't. I can't find
How
another
many
word, but used
how
as a
many
tool.
videos of women have I looked at?
How many other women have you uh, used as a visual aid to stimulate yourself while you masturbate to them?
I don't
Or
know, a
lusted
lot.
over. Yeah, we'll use the word lusted
I
over. How
can't
many?
give you a number. Like a lot of
Hundreds,
images of
thousands,
moving images of women,
10,000.
right?
How
And
many?
guess what? If I had to think about it right now, I couldn't picture them really. Like I couldn't just like bring one up, right? It's just like it's an aid. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah. If you're not using them, do you think you're honoring them and treating them as a whole person with dignity and value?
I don't think that you understand what I'm saying, right? Like
I understand what you're saying very clearly, and
I
I'm
am
asking questions.
servicing myself, right?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I got it.
So it's not like, again, if I'm looking at a painting, like am I using another woman if I'm looking at a sexy painting or I'm looking at a sexy cartoon?
Yes.
But that's not a woman. That's just an illustration
And if you were
or
to
a
do that,
painting.
I would have so many other questions on why you're masturbating to cartoons and using it as a
But
tool
lots of
for your
people
masturbatory aid.
masturbate to cartoons and like,
They do. And when I talk to those
yeah, of
people,
course,
I
that's a
have lots of
huge
very
thing.
interesting questions.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
fine having interesting questions, but is that a person or is that cheating or is that just an image?
Yeah. Well, what do you think is most honoring to people? Because in order to, when we engage in
But
pornography,
is
we're
having
objectifying the other
honor,
person. We're reducing them down to only having sexual value for our pleasure.
sure, I'm not saying that you're not wrong. I think you're absolutely right, right? Like I think
Great. So
actually it's not
then
about them,
assuming,
it's about your mind.
yes,
Right? It's
exactly,
like in your
exactly,
mind you're turning them
exactly.
into an object, right?
Yes, exactly. So what do you think would
Right.
be a better thing to do? To do that or to view them as a whole person? And here's the thing is you can only objectify somebody else if you first objectify yourself.
That
So what do you
that
think
doesn't
might be
make
a
sense.
better solution?
That doesn't make sense at all.
It
Um,
doesn't make sense at all. Okay,
no,
what
that's
about that
like what are
doesn't
you
make
talking
sense?
about? How
In order,
tell me how that logic works.
because when we reduce people down to being tools or utilities, we miss the whole person. And in order for us to treat other people that way, we have to first treat ourselves that way as we're just a tool for somebody else's
But
disposal.
this person has filmed something at a different time and has no idea that there's no connection there. So you're not reducing a person or using that person. They are completely separate from you.
What are you doing to them then?
You're not doing anything to them. You are doing something to a video.
In your mind, what are you doing? Are you honoring them with dignity or are you reducing them down to an object for sexual pleasure?
Honoring an image of someone with dignity has nothing to do with the definition of cheating.
It's all connected, man. You can look at a picture of someone and honor them through that. Like imagine you go to a funeral and you look at a picture with honor, reverence. This is a good person. This is a whole person,
Yeah, the
right?
person's
That would
still
be,
dead. They don't know.
I got it. I got it. Exactly. That's my point is you can honor somebody even who's dead, right? Now, a different way to go about looking at a picture of somebody is to whip it out and start masturbating to it. Which is more honoring?
I, I mean, to the photo.
To all people involved, which would be more honoring?
I mean, if you're in a public place, you shouldn't be whipping out your penis and masturbating,
I agree. Thank you for
right?
that.
And nobody does that.
That's not true. I
Okay.
deal with people who do that
I
all
don't
the
know
time.
what funerals you've been to, but I've never been to a funeral where someone whipped out their penis and jerked off to the image of the dead person.
And I've worked with guys who have stepped into the bathroom and masturbated during a funeral.
Well,
But you're
I
getting
don't know
off
what
point.
to say
You're
about
getting
that.
off topic. Which would be more honoring to all people involved?
I mean, if nobody knows except for me, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, I don't agree with you. Because here's the thing is most people who have a habitual pattern of watching pornography they view people out in the real world the same as they do the people in the pornography that they've trained themselves to view them as, like objects for sexual pleasure. And I can attest to that to myself. When I was deep in my pornography addiction, how I viewed people on the screen translated to how I viewed people out in real life. You begin to see people only as sexual objects for your own desire or your own pleasure.
See, I think that's definitely a personal issue that you had, and
It
there is
absolutely
no
was,
point
and most
in my
people,
life.
if not all, would agree
I,
with that
I,
as well.
I would love to see how to quantify that, but there has been no point in my life when I have watched porn or when I have been celibate, either time in my life where I have looked at women and been like, oh, I'm going to view that person as a sexual object. I
So
view
you've
all
never
human beings with
you
reverence and respect, and I treat them as such
That's
when
not
I am
true.
near them.
That's not true. The way you're describing your relationship with pornography negates that statement.
But that's your idea that like there's some sort of like ethereal
No,
connection
this is what you
between
said. You
you
said
and
that there are
someone
some
that's just an image of somebody.
No, you said that there are some people who you don't do that with, like the people in pornography.
They are not. I'm not talking about a person. Do you understand? Like I'm talking about
What?
an
Because they're on a
image of a
screen? They're
person
not.
on a screen.
Yeah, I'm an image of a person on a screen. Am I not a real person?
You are live and talking to me, and we have established a relationship that is existent, that is
How?
extant.
You're just
Do you
a voice to
understand
me.
the difference?
You're just a voice. I've never seen you.
I'm looking at. Oh, you want to see my video here?
Not really.
Okay.
I
Like
mean, if you want to turn
you
your
can't
camera
just
on, you're
like.
welcome to. But the thing is, man, it's still a person on the other side of that screen. It may not
No,
be in
it's
real
not.
time. I get that.
It's not a person in real time, and there's no relationship there. They have filmed this for money to just be sent out.
Are there any people that, maybe a celebrity or an athlete that you feel like there's some sort of connection to?
Do I have any celebrities or
Yeah,
athletes
just like
that I
a
feel like I have a
celebrity
connection?
who you've seen them on TV a lot, and like you feel like you kind of know them a little bit.
I I know that I do not have a real connection with any celebrities except the couple that I know in real life
Yeah, I didn't ask if you have a
because
real
I've never
connection.
met
I
them.
asked if you kind of feel like you kind of know the person a little bit. Like okay,
I mean,
Tom
I
Brady.
feel like I
Tom
may
Brady.
know things
Like
about them, right? I
I've never
don't
had a
feel like I know
conversation.
them.
I've never had a conversation with Tom Brady before, but I kind of feel like I know what he's all about. Right?
Yeah,
But
I
I've
don't
never
have
had
that
a real
relationship
time.
with anyone I don't know.
Okay, so well then maybe you're just so disconnected from people on a screen that I don't know.
I mean, I'm if I don't have a real connection with them, I would not feel a connection with them.
Okay.
Right there.
Okay. When did you start watching porn? How old were you?
I mean, maybe I was in high school,
Okay. And how old are you now?
35, 34.
Okay. Do you think that 20 years of prolonged pornography use has had any negative impact on how you view people?
Well, I had years where I didn't masturbate when I got sober. So I've taken breaks for periods of time. And I think I don't know. I guess it depends on how you would quantify that, right? Like when I was on drugs, I think it maybe affected me to some extent. Now that I'm sober, I don't feel that, but I don't know that, those,
Do you think 20 years of pornography use has had any negative impact on how you view people?
I don't think so. No,
Okay.
I think
All
I
right.
have an incredible amount of love and respect for all of the friends and people that I know in real life. And I don't think that it has made me see them differently. And I also know that like the things that I'm seeing in pornography are completely fake and not real.
That's not true. It's real. So it's somebody's daughter, it's somebody's mother, it's somebody's brother, it's somebody's sister. That is real.
Right. But from my end, what I'm getting out of it is just a fake fantasy, right? It is something that is fake.
Well,
Also, I think
two
it goes to, it should
two
also
things
be
can be
noted
true.
that people should be very careful about the pornography that they watch, right?
Well,
And I think there should,
I think people should be very careful about whether or not they objectify other people or not, whether it's pornography or it's something else.
yeah, I mean, I think, the question is, where do you draw that line, right? Like, do you think it's wrong to pose for nude photographs? Do you think it's wrong to pose for a nude painting? Where's your line there is my question.
Well, yeah, you're talking about the difference between art and pornography, right?
Right. And
Pornography
what,
is
yeah, I mean, maybe.
pornography is imagery usually depicting an organ or multiple organs of a person with the erotic intent to arouse. There can be
Sure, but if
nude
people are
imagery that
aroused
doesn't
by
fit the
art,
definition of pornography.
sure, but if people are aroused, like that doesn't mean that people aren't going to misuse in your definition. I'm not saying that they are misusing, but in your definition, misuse people that are in art. Or, masturbate to static photos of celebrities or to Tom Brady,
Totally.
right? Like people
Yeah.
may use those incorrectly. And, I guess that's the difference. It's like, is that real? Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm not
Yeah.
saying you're wrong, right? Like, I think that you may be very right, and that there are a lot of people that probably really look at pornography in an incredibly unhealthy way, and by doing so, treat people in their lives as objects and stare at them and do creepy shit, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think that you're probably very right about that, but I don't think as a rule that's necessarily the truth.
Mm-hmm. If you have kids, which I don't care if you do, I'm saying this question to make a point, obviously. If
Yeah,
you had
Melissa, I'm
kids,
married.
um, say you had a son, who's married and is in a similar situation as you, masturbating, up to 5 times a week to somebody who's not their partner, what advice would you give that son?
I don't think it's my place to give advice to my son about that at that point. I think that if it's causing a problem in their relationship, they
If
need to
your
talk to
son
their
came to you
partner
and
or a
said,
therapist
and
about
again,
it.
I'm not suggesting there's a right or wrong answer. I'm just genuinely curious, right? If your son came to you and he's married, says, "Hey, Dad,
Yeah.
I'm watching pornography 5 times a week, and that this is pornography of someone other than my wife.
Yeah.
Can you give me some
I'd probably
guidance
say
here? How
talk
would
to
you
a
guide
sex
that person?"
therapist, not a guy on TikTok who used to jerk off too much.
Nice.
You know.
What if your daughter came to you in that similar situation? Hey, Dad, my husband just watches porn multiple times a week. I really don't know what to do. What would you advise her?
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't have kids, so I can't be completely sure. But I think what I'd say to her is you need to talk to him about it. And if it's causing a problem in your relationship and it's making you unhappy, you need to talk to him about seeing a therapist. And if it doesn't work for your lifestyle and it's causing big problems and he's unwilling to get help, then you need to think about not being with this person anymore.
Okay. All
And I
right.
think it just
Do you have
revolves
kids?
around
Out of
having honest
curiosity.
conversation with your partner.
Mm-hmm. Do you have kids?
I do not.
All right.
We have dogs. We've decided we don't want kids for a while.
Cool. All right, man. Well, thanks for chatting.
Thank you.
All right. See ya.
All right, see ya.
Aaron. What's up, Aaron? This is great elevator music. All right, where are these people? They request and they go away. Hey there, what's
Nope,
going
I'm
on,
here.
Tim?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Not much. So I definitely think porn is cheating. It's definitely an addiction. Uh, I don't know, even out of marriage, just in a regular relationship with somebody, I believe it's cheating. just because most of the time, even if you're like communicating, like my fiance and I were talking about porn when we first got together, and it wasn't a problem, like for either one of us to watch it. But I don't know, it just turns into something else. Like, even if you're open about it, like how much you watch it and stuff like that, like it's very easy to go away from your partner and get distant from them. It causes a lot of problems.
Yeah, got it. Man. Are you guys married now?
No, not yet. We actually took a step back for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Probably porn put a little bit of a damper on us a little bit, so without even knowing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been addicted to porn since I was like 8 years old.
Mm.
So
How old are you now?
32.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's a long time.
yeah,
Are you still struggling with it, or you totally off of
yeah.
it?
Still struggling with it. Um, you know, still trying to beat the habit. Going to church and trying to do better, but it's difficult. It's
Yeah.
definitely difficult. Like I used it for stress, traumas, and stuff like that growing up. Like if I couldn't fall asleep, I used it.
Yeah.
But you know, now now I'm trying to find other ways to cope and not use it.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely if I don't have kids of my own, but she has kids, and I wouldn't want them to have to go through that, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, here's the thing, man. Good for you guys for kind of taking a step back and saying, "Hold on, we got some stuff to figure out here." You know?
Yeah, definitely.
No. How long have you been kind of on that path of having a new awareness that it's something that you're wanting to work on in your life?
Like 2 years ago, I tried to get away from it. I was good for like 2 or 3 months, and then I just fell back into it. But here recently, we actually seen your lives and started discussing it, and she told me that like she grew up somewhere where it was really prevalent, right? It was
Mm-hmm.
not taboo at all, or whatever you want to call it. It was just normal for porn to be around, and it's the same in my household. So she recently like admitted that like it made her feel like I was cheating by using porn instead of going to her, um, which I tell her all the time. Like I'd want her any day of the week over a damn screen.
Mm-hmm.
Like she satisfies me with every need I have, but there's sometimes where she's not there, and especially living in separate households right now, it's just difficult to you know have those times together. But
Yeah.
definitely learning how to hold back those feelings and try to. I haven't figured out what has worked yet to
Mm-hmm.
stop the urges.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the fact that you have an awareness and a desire to change is great. That's a great first step, right? You can't change what you don't name. And I can tell you have
Right,
like an underlying longing to want to, just honor, cherish, love, respect, protect your partner.
right,
With 24 years of practice, I mean, your brain is grooved to use pornography as a coping mechanism,
yeah,
right? And it doesn't end there, by the way. That's the beautiful part about the brain is that the brain can be rewired. It takes about 2 to 5 years to rewire the brain back to quote unquote normal after pornography addiction.
okay,
So That's kind of like the good news, bad news of it. Like on one hand, it's
Right,
like
right.
that's a long time, but on the other hand, it's possible, and you can get there.
So definitely before I'm 40, I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. But before you're 40, you'll be good, and you won't have any problems. No, but it time doesn't heal wounds. It's what you do in the time that heals the wounds, right? So,
Yeah.
in order for the brain to regroove, what you have to do is start creating new neural pathways. Imagine you've been walking in a grass field or meadow for 32 years. There's going to be a path there,
Right,
right?
right, right.
If and when it sounds like you're walking a new path, you're going to groove a new path, and the old one will kind of regrow, right?
Okay.
So think
Yeah.
about that as that's what's happening on the brain science level. And
Okay.
in the meantime, you know, I get you're going to church. Awesome. Are you seeing a therapist? Are you reading books? Like, what are you doing to combat this problem at like the deep heart level?
Um, I go to a men's group
Hmm.
through my church every Tuesday. So we talk about it there quite a bit. Um, I haven't picked up any books or, I am going to a therapist, but it's a couple therapy. It's not like just for porn. It's
Hmm.
in general. Um, and we do that like every other week. So,
Yeah. Cool, man. I love that. Good for you. You're doing, I mean, doing some sort of one-on-one work, some sort of group work, and then reading will be helpful. There's a book I recommend called Unwanted. Take a screenshot of that.
all right.
How sexual brokenness reveals our way to healing. And
All
it does
right.
come from a Christian faith-based perspective. I don't ask anybody to believe what I believe. I just recommend this
Yeah.
book
Yep.
because it's, in my opinion, the best book on the topic. Give that one a read.
All right. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. I know you said you're in a group at your church on Tuesday nights, which was awesome. I have groups as well. We do them on Tuesday and Wednesday. If you're interested in that, you can go to the link in my bio and schedule a call with me if you want to chat more.
Okay. Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Cool, man. Good.
All right.
Thanks. There you go. Give you some claps. So thanks for sharing, man. We'll see you.
All right. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye. All right. V. I got to pee. Story of my life, right? What's up, Emlo? Daniela. Yeah, Unwanted is a great book. It's not just for men struggling with porn. How sexual brokenness reveals our way to healing. Yes, this book is very helpful for men dealing with porn. It's also very helpful for a partner who's been betrayed and wants to learn about their own sexual story. Or even for a woman on what your sexual, if there's sexual brokenness there, what it reveals about your story. It's called Unwanted by Jay Stringer. Josie, hi there. What's going on?
Not much. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. What's up?
From personal experience, I don't know if porn's as much cheating as it is demeaning to the
Okay.
spouse. Especially when, and this is speaking from experience, I've been married 20 years, together 25.
Hey, Josie, I'm sorry.
And we went through
You got, what's that noise? Is that water running or is that like bacon cooking?
no, I am cooking. I'm sorry.
What are you cooking?
A roast.
A roast. Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
I walked away from it. Is that better?
It's better, but we don't want that roast to overcook.
No, we're good. It's coming out.
Okay. All right.
But
sorry.
my husband
now
has
you peeling
a porn
onions now?
addiction. Yep, you're good. You're just hearing it all.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. All right. So
but
your
I
husband,
went to
what?
my husband. he had a porn addiction, a really bad one. And I wasn't aware of it. And when I went to him and talked to him, and I said, do you know that when you have to relieve yourself for porn and take care of business that way, when you could have come to me, why wouldn't you? And his number one thing to me was there was things he could fantasize and watch on porn that he would never ask me to do. And it made no sense to me. Porn to me is disgusting. I'm sorry. I have no use in watching a whole bunch of other people. But I came to the conclusion, if that's what you want to do, that's what you're going to do. Until I realized that, is it cheating?
What do you think?
Because I do, in a sense, it absolutely can lead to cheating in my eyes, because if we went out somewhere, I would see him looking, and everybody looks, you're human, I get it. And I said, holy cow, one day to him, I was like, a napkin? And he kind of looked at me, and he goes, what? I said, well, you can look, you don't need to stare at her. And he goes, well, I just think she'd be kind of fun. And I literally got up from our meal and walked away and said, there's your fun. And I left him at the restaurant. I did, there is a sense of porn being pleasurable to people, and I totally understand that, and to each their own. I think everybody has their own way of dealing with it, but deep down inside, it is a form of cheating. It is demeaning, and I don't see what it is about it that keeps drawing them.
How long ago did that happen?
Started in 2019.
I mean, like the restaurant thing. That happened 5 years ago?
Oh, no, that actually just happened. It'd be almost 6 months ago. But I believe in marriage, like, you can work through problems. You can get through it. There's no just walking away from it. But I'm not one to go through a phone. I'm not one, that's his phone, whatever. He come to me one day and he was like, okay, I think you need to know the real side of it. And he handed me his phone. And he said, I want you to see everything I look at. And when I went through and I was looking at different videos, and you 100% hit the nail on the head. Most people have one actor that they form this attraction to and come back to. And it was just multiple videos of like 3 different women. And we had the conversation like, well, what would you do if you got on porn? And, oh, there's your daughter. And he goes, well, I wouldn't look at it. I'd be appalled. And I'm like, and how do you think these people feel? You're pleasuring yourself to their daughter or their wife.
How long have you been married, Josie?
Be 20 years.
Okay. And how do you feel about this going on in your marriage?
Honestly, 3 months ago, I looked at him and I told him, if this is what you want, you can have it. I don't need it. And I'm sorry, I'm petty. I threw a bottle of oil on the bed and said, that's your pleasure from now on. And walked away. He has not looked at it. He hasn't thought about it. And he comes to me now and sits down and he talks to me about it. So we're trying to work through it, but he knows that I felt very sideswiped. I felt unattractive. I felt disgusting. I felt he needed porn in order to get sexually aroused. And if that's what you need, then you don't need me type of attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And so it has, it has brought me down a lot. But it's like, on the other hand, why? Why am I letting it? Because a lot of that stuff is just fantasy. It's fake. It's not real.
Yeah,
That's
but
where
Josie,
my struggle is.
yeah, it is real though. Your body is responding to it in such a way because it feels as though he's turning his eyes away from you to
Oh,
another woman,
absolutely.
which is what's happening.
Absolutely. I agree. He doesn't see it. He doesn't view it as a problem because he grew up with it, so it was natural to him. And I told him, I said, porn was a natural thing to me too. You went into my dad's bathroom, there was porn, there was Playboys, there was videos, there was whatever. But I watched it destroy my parents' marriage because my dad cheated because he wanted more fun, more excitement with different women.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to be that person. I don't want my children to see this. I don't want my grandchildren to see it,
Mm-hmm.
But I still, I do bounce back and forth. Is it cheating or is it just demeaning? Is it low self-esteem on my part and I'm letting go and giving up and just being like done?
Well, more than one thing can be true at a time. Right? It can be demeaning and
Right.
an act of unfaithfulness at the same time.
Absolutely. I agree.
Right. I love what you did with the oil, by the way, as an act of taking a stand for yourself. And you said
It was just, heat of the moment.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that heat of the moment it didn't just start in that moment. I mean, that was years in the making. And in my estimation as well, probably a fairly muted response to what you actually might have wanted to do. Is that fair?
Very, very fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're
Very
bottling
fair.
up how you really feel about it.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
on one hand, you're trying to will yourself into thinking, no, this is okay. I need to accept it. It's just fantasy. But on the other hand, there's like this visceral response saying, no, this is not okay.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree because I grew up being, you're the woman, you respect the wishes of him, regardless of what they are. And I look back now and I think, I've been putting up with it. It's been going on, he did admit, since 2014 to 15, he wasn't sure. And he hid it for that long.
Mm-hmm.
Till it started, getting worse, worse, worse.
Yeah.
And it's like I told him, I do feel like it leads to cheating because I feel like, the overwhelming response of wanting more. His biggest thing, he says, well, it's every man's fantasy to have two women. No, it's not. It's not every man's fantasy. When a man gets married, I thought that stuff stopped usually. But I reversed the role to him and I said, okay, you tell me that's your fantasy and that's what you want. But what if I said that's what I wanted? How would you respond? He goes, well, that's cheating. What was the difference then?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I said, in my eyes, two wrongs don't make a right if that's the way you're going to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
But don't expect me to drop and say, oh, okay, for your selfishness and your pleasure, that's what you want. But then if I turn around and say, okay, I did that for you, now you need to do this for me, you're going to want a divorce. You're not going to want to do this. You're not going to want to do that. And he said, absolutely, because it's cheating. What's the difference between two women, two men, whatever? So be it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what are you going to do from here? For 3 months, he says he hasn't been watching it. Can I offer you something from my experience?
Absolutely.
The odds of somebody turning back to pornography without getting some sort of intentional help within 6 months is basically 100%.
Agreed.
Right? And I mean, I'm not giving you any information you don't know. There's damage that's been created in your marriage that can be healed, but it'll take work to heal that. Not watching porn is like one small part of bringing your marriage back to a place of restoration.
Sure.
Right. And so if not having no pornography in the relationship is something you guys are wanting, but really if the deeper longing is we want a deeper sense of intimacy with one another, great. That can be cultivated with some good, real, intentional work. Is that something you guys are up for?
I am. I honestly don't think he is, because he doesn't believe in outside help. When I asked him to go to counseling, he told me,
I don't believe
why would
that.
I go there?
I don't believe he doesn't believe in outside help. Has he ever gotten help? Does he have any hobbies that he's ever gotten any outside help for?
I mean, he does get from like his dad. He'll go to his dad, but going to his buddies or anything, no.
Nobody has ever learned anything without getting help from somewhere else.
Well, I mean, he goes to like YouTube. He likes to watch
Yes,
YouTube and learn
that's outside help.
things. So,
Right? You see what I'm saying?
that makes sense.
I'm saying
Absolutely.
a man who wants to accomplish something always has a plan with how to accomplish it.
Sure.
Right. The question is he committed enough or willing to humble himself enough to say, hey, I need outside help here? Right. This pornography
He might.
addiction. Yeah. Pornography addiction does not get beat in isolation. You guys can have fun in the comments with how I just phrased that. It happens in community when you bring it to the light, because there's shame associated with it. And shame festers in the darkness, but it can't stand being spoken to the light. And it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with him either, by the way. Right? It's just, hey, you know what? There's something not working here. We want something to be different. Yeah, let's get some help. All right, great. We want a better marriage. Would anybody argue that that's a good thing to strive for?
I most definitely would not.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you frame it like that, it's like, hey, we want our marriage to be better. Let's get some help. Great. But if it's, hey, this poor little addict needs to get fixed. Yeah, I wouldn't want to sign up for that either. I know you didn't say that.
I hope he would, considering that, after I blew up this 3 months ago with the whole situation and had enough, I think he understands the seriousness of it.
Yeah.
Because when I tell you it's a porn addiction, I mean, it is an addiction. When you are watching it as soon as you get up in the morning and you're still watching it at night before you go to bed, it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And he did blame me. He says, look, you're always on your phone. You're always doing this. You're always doing that. I said, yeah, I absolutely am. I'm on there. And I mean, I'm at home. I cook for my family, and not just him and I. It's my adult children and their children. And it's like I was being punished for keeping a clean house. I was being punished for cooking and not getting the attention from him. And I think the words that he said that have stuck with him is when I said to him, I wish I got as much attention from you as porn is getting. And I think that struck a nerve with him.
Yeah, that pierced him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, as a wife, a girlfriend, even husbands, because I have girlfriends who are all about it. And I'm like, why? But whatever, teach their own. I don't get involved. And they told me, just let him do it. It ain't that big of a deal. It ain't that big of a deal. Well, it is when your bedroom activities have been reduced every, 6 months, 8 months.
Yeah.
There's more to it then. And
Yeah.
it went from a very active bedroom to a non-active bedroom, and it was because he literally admits that he was having fun, enjoying. Well, then you keep doing that.
Yeah. Oh, now you're popping bottles?
No, I set you down.
Oh, it sounded like you opened a can or something. All right. Well, thanks for sharing, Josie. And there's a lot for you to look at there if you want to, with
Okay.
how things could be different in your marriage if that's something you guys are up for. And here's the thing: even if he's not willing to come to the table, it's always worth it to work on yourself, because you've
Right.
tolerated this behavior in such a way for a long time, and you the whole oil thing. Yeah, I mean, you did something there, but there's still a lot more. I would just say, to give you hope, there's a lot more possible for you guys with regard to intimacy, and that's worth doing. And I talk to a lot of people. If your partner's not worth or not willing to go, well, it's usually worth it for you to get some sort of help and healing as well.
I
So,
agree.
yeah.
I agree. And I appreciate you. And I'm glad I come across this.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing. I hope that roast turns out good.
Me too. I'm going to go finish it.
All right. Take care.
Have a good day. You
You
too.
too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
By the way, I'm a coach. I do one-on-one coaching as well as group coaching, both for men who are dealing with unwanted sexual behavior, such as porn or sex addiction, as well as women who are dealing with betrayal trauma. I have groups on Tuesday nights and on Wednesday afternoons that are facilitated by myself and other female and male contributors. It's a great community to be seen, known, and loved by others in community so that we can move forward into new experiences that we might not see are possible. If you want more information on that, you can go to the link in my bio, schedule a discovery call with me, or just join one of the groups. Love to see you there. Yes, Tuesday nights, 5:30 p.m. Pacific for the women's group, or 7 p.m. Pacific for the men, and an additional men's group at noon Pacific on Wednesdays. All right, I got to go pee. Then I'll be right back, and I got maybe 20 minutes left in me. So I'll be right back. All right. So, if anybody heard about the Joe Rogan interview with Donald Trump, apparently it was 3 hours long, and he didn't go to the bathroom before it, during it, or immediately after it. I don't think I've ever made it more than like an hour doing a TikTok live without going to the bathroom. Why am I saying that? I don't know. I have a tiny bladder. I guess that's why I'm saying that. All right. Are the groups? Yes, the groups do cost money. You can get all the info on the link in my bio. It is because I'm probably drinking this 5 times today, as well as a ton of coffee. All right. Joe Mama, 55. Yes, I have a wife. I've been married for 13 years. I sound like Markiplier. What is Markiplier? I don't know who that is. How did Donald do that? I have no idea. All right. I'm just picking people randomly. Joe Mama's not there. ACJ Mom. I've talked to you before, haven't I?
No, I don't think so.
Pretty sure I have.
Oh, maybe.
But anyways. All right, what's up?
Yeah, I was just curious. Why does your partner cheating or doing porn affect you so many years down the road more than in the moment? Do you have insight on that?
I mean, that's a great question. I don't know. Well, first of all, I don't know that it affects you more down the road than it does in the moment. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can speculate with you.
Yeah.
I think, imagine you, I'll make an analogy. This might not be a perfect analogy. Say you get hurt. Like I had ankle surgery 20 years ago. I was knocked out for it. I don't remember it at all. Right? But I still have this scar on my ankle that when you rub it just right, it just kind of feels a little off. I'm reminded of it frequently. Right? So our body naturally tries to protect us from the acute pain that we experience with adrenaline and things like that. Right? Because our bodies are wired for survival. They want us to get through these moments. The pain of betrayal, it leaves a scar. And it heals over time. It maybe looks different, feels different over time, but it's still there.
Yeah.
So I just made that up on the fly. But it
Yeah,
sounded
no,
somewhat
that's
relevant.
100% correct. 100% correct. I feel like my husband started out with sneaking behind my back, doing, watching porn, watching gross TV shows, and it led to eventually affairs behind my back when my kids were younger, and now it's been 15 years and I'm more angry now than ever.
Yeah, have you healed from it though? Or have you done healing work through it?
The thing is it's always like he claims it's a him issue and not a me issue. So I'm dealing with it, but I still don't trust. And I feel like, I don't know, I just more now than ever. And I think my kids are getting older now. So it's just kind of like, I feel like, when they were younger, you felt more stuck to stay. That sounds horrible. But now that they're older, I just kind of like, I'm not dealing with that crap anymore.
Yeah, well, and again, I'm not asking these questions because if the inverse was true, you'd be fine. But have you
Yeah.
done individual therapy, marriage counseling, intensives? Have you read books on grief and betrayal? Like, have you really
Yeah.
immersed yourself in the work that's required to heal?
I have done most of the work myself, just me. I did go see a counselor myself, and I saw somebody, actually our pastor at our church, but he refused to come with me. He came with one time, and then he said, I don't respect what he has to say about this. So I just didn't end up going back again because I felt like it needed to be both of our
Yeah.
work, both of us putting in the work. And it actually, I just kind of, you get angry because you're like, you're putting in the work, but you're the one that's the problem. So I don't know. And at the time I had a ton of little kids and it was just like, I just need to be a parent right now. But now I think I just have pushed it aside. Now it's kind of coming back out because your kids get older and you need to spend time with your spouse. There's more opportunities to do that. And now I just am kind of like, do I even like you? So I don't know. That sounds bad, but it's just like it's come back out and it's just weird to me that it's like I'm more angry now and just feel more betrayed now than I ever have. And this was started I've been married for 25 years and this started literally 6 months into our marriage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I am not a priority to him. All of his hobbies and things are a priority. So somebody asked in the chat if I'm a priority, but I feel like I don't really feel like it, and I don't feel like he has done his job on making up for what he's done, I guess. I certainly would if somebody asked me, make sure you communicate clearly so I don't suspect anything or, I just feel like he just always wants to be suspicious, and I just feel like I would be kissing somebody's butt if I betrayed them like that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, can I just give you my opinion on what you're saying in these few minutes?
100%, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a quote that that comes to me from the book, The Grief Recovery Handbook, and I'm going to equate betrayal to a grief event. Time doesn't heal wounds. It's what you do in the time that heals the wounds. Right? So I
Yeah.
get it. You've done some work, but just my blink on what you're saying, there's a lot more to be done with really feeling your anger. I mean, you had a bunch of little kids at the time. This happened really quickly into your marriage. Like, you had no choice but just to survive through those years and keep everybody else alive.
Yeah.
Right? Like, okay, good job. You needed to do that. But maybe now, there's some time to really focus on yourself and what you're actually feeling, what you actually felt during that time, and grieve what was lost. Something was lost there. I assure you that. You know that.
Oh, 100%.
Right? And to grieve that, to grieve what this marriage was. And I'm not saying the marriage is over. I mean, it can be restored into something beautiful. That's for sure. I know that that's possible. Right? But if you're just, the fact that you're even asking these questions, it just reveals a lot
I
about
know.
kind of where you're at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. And I do understand people like, that I need to like not dig up stuff from the past. And if I don't dig up stuff from the past, move forward. Otherwise I shouldn't be with him. But that's not how it works. Like
No, it doesn't
I
work
wish
that way.
I wish that that's how it works, but it doesn't. And things will trigger me, like little things like, down to like he brought a chick on a motorcycle ride when I was off taking care of my kids, and I see his motorcycle and I just want to burn it. So, little things like that trigger, and then your head starts going in bad places. And yeah, I could do all the counseling, but I think forever I will never be the same person. That's what I'm trying to say. I will never be the same person because of what he's done. And that's why I say, is porn cheating? 100%. I feel like it leads to the bad situations, went from watching stuff on TV to pornography to cheating. I'm sorry. I feel like it is a gateway to bad things.
Yeah, for sure is.
Mhm.
So this book will be helpful for you, The Betrayal Bind. You'll just eat this book up. You'll
The
read
betrayal
this
bind.
and look, I have all these things marked on it. I'll just read something to you and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I need this book.
Mhm.
Our current cultural belief is that if your relationship isn't working for you and isn't healthy for you, you should leave it. Whether that is a relationship with your parents, best friend, family, or partner, we treat our attachments cavalierly. We do not respect the deep intertwining in our connection to significant people in our lives. We act as though leaving is much easier and much less costly than it is. But as anyone who has gone through a divorce can tell you, it's a bit like losing a limb. It feels like being emotionally and relationally torn in two, and it takes serious time and work to heal. That's just a random excerpt, but you see how this book just puts a lot of things in perspective with betrayal, and it would be very helpful, I think, for where you're at, The Betrayal Bind.
Yes. I think that sounds like a good book. I definitely will go head over to Amazon and order it. But the thing is, to me though, that people don't understand is I will always have a connection with him because he's the father of my children. And not that that should make me stay, but also like nothing is perfect. And I know he's not a perfect person, but I'm just hoping one day that something will make him want to change and like repent, like change and be a better person. I don't know. It's a horrible feeling. You feel like the biggest, ugliest piece of junk when somebody does that to you.
Yeah,
And that's just sad that people are accepting. And it is the downfall of society is the pornography just gets nastier and nastier. It's gross. It's fake. It's cheap. It's gross.
totally.
And so it's really too
look,
bad.
You're even languaging that in such a way. The reason is because he's your primary attachment figure, and vice versa. So of course, like leaving, it just sounds so hard, and it's like, how could the person who's supposed to love and protect me the most betray me in like the worst way possible? And the
Mm-hmm.
reason why it becomes this kind of, why am I staying? Why am I not going? It's because you guys are so attached. And that's not a bad
Yeah.
thing, by the way.
Yeah.
Right? It's a really good thing because we need those attachment figures.
Yeah.
When a betrayal happens, that's where healing has to occur. Check out my groups as well. We have a great community.
I know.
of
I
people.
was just considering going on there and going to check something out. I think
Well,
I could do something for myself. You can't force somebody else to do something, but I think if
Totally.
I've had him listen to your podcast at night when we're laying in bed
Yeah.
listening, and I think he's definitely. It's not that he doesn't want to. I think he was young. He first saw pornography on the school bus, and he said, literally ever since then, his parents were very conservative in the manner of like you didn't ever talk about sex or talk about I mean, even to the point where like they had like this side of the houses that were like, this side's for girls, this side's for boys, for all of his siblings. Like it was a weird bringing up. That's actually what he learned from all of this is like sexuality was bad when he was younger, and then it made him curious when he saw pornography. What he learned is he's very open with our children and talking about sex and talking about bad things on the internet and talking about all this stuff. So I think like if that would be a takeaway for him, I think he's a great dad in that aspect. Like the kids want to talk about anything, and he's just willing because he felt like his parents being secretive and what he saw on the bus and stuff, and he thought he was dirty and bad because he saw it at such a young age, that he's learned to be such an open communicator. Even like I get immature and like chuckle and laugh when like the kids ask stuff, and he's just like down to earth and like, let's talk about this. And so that's the one positive, I guess, would be that he is really does not want the next generation to be like how he was. It was like even his parents never kissed, nothing. They were just very, very like, I don't know. But anyway, so I guess it's just weird how the brain works, and to see how this has affected his life by seeing pornography at such a young age, that it really has led down a bad path, and it's a very addictive thing. And I
Yeah,
just it makes me sad that people make a joke of it and think that it's something that's fine.
totally. Yeah. This book will be great for you guys as well. I would recommend this for him to start. Unwanted by
Okay.
Jay Stringer. And look, my blink where you're at, you need community. And I mean, if you're interested in joining one of my groups, I think it'd be a great fit for you. And
Yeah,
him
that's
as well.
awesome.
So take that for what it is. Schedule a call with
I
me if
will
you guys
do it.
want. But yeah.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for sharing. Bye bye.
Yep, take care. Bye-bye.
All right. That's all we got. I have a call in 10 minutes. So thanks for being here, buddy. I might go on later tonight. We'll see. Oh, by the way, when I was on Saturday night, I don't know who was here, but I asked you guys like what time it was, and I did the math wrong in my head. I thought it was 11:30 my time when I got off. I live in Arizona, Pacific time. I got in bed and it was 1:30. I'm like, what happened here? So I feel like I got tricked. And I'm not blaming you guys, but I did not mean to go to bed that late. Anyways, thanks for being here, everybody. I'm a coach. I do one-on-one coaching as well as group coaching, both for men dealing with porn or sex addiction and women dealing with betrayal trauma. If you want help in healing, whether you've been betrayed or working through a pornography addiction, sex addiction, you want more wholeness and restoration in your life, in your relationship, consider scheduling a call or joining one of my groups. It's a great place to heal in community, because healing doesn't occur until it's witnessed empathetically. And if you want one-on-one work, one-on-one coaching, I'd love to work with you in that capacity as well. You can schedule a discovery call with me using the link in my bio, or just go ahead and join one of the groups and we'll chat there. Again, books I'd recommend. Unwanted by Jay Stringer is a fantastic book. And this is on my resources page and link in my bio. And then also The Betrayal Bind by Michelle Mays. Generally speaking, like we kind of follow the Betrayal Bind in my women's groups, and then Unwanted in the men's groups. So, until next time, make it a great day or not. The choice is always yours. It's always yours. And until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye. Good job, Josie. Report back. Let me know how you like those books. See ya.